What if I told you there's a country where your first name is decided by the day of the week you were born? A place where coffins are masterpieces, built to celebrate a life in the shape of anything from a chili pepper to a giant airplane. Well, this isn't a fantasy world. This is Ghana, a nation where ancient traditions and modern life move to a vibrant, unforgettable rhythm. From a name that honors ancient warrior kings to its trailblazing role in African independence, Ghana's story is full of surprises. We're about to explore 10 incredible facts that reveal the country's unique mix of culture and geography. So get ready, because you're about to see a side of West Africa you never knew existed. Number 1. The Beacon of Independence. To really get Ghana, you have to start with one of the biggest moments in modern African history. On March 6, 1957, Ghana became the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to break free from colonial rule. This wasn't just a political footnote. It was a spark that sent waves of hope across the entire continent. Can you imagine the energy in Accra on that day? The air buzzing with joy as the British Union Jack was lowered for the last time, and the new vibrant flag of Ghana, red, gold, and green, with a bold black star, was raised to the sky. At the heart of it all was the charismatic and visionary Kwame Nkrumah. After being educated in the US, Nkrumah returned to what was then called the Gold Coast with a fire in his belly for self-governance. He wasn't about to wait around. He rallied the people with the powerful slogan, "Self-government now." His strategy of positive action, non-violent protests, strikes, and civil disobedience was inspired by Gandhi and would, in turn, inspire leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., who was actually there to witness Ghana's independence ceremony. Ghana's independence was more than just the birth of a nation. Nkrumah saw it as the first crack in the colonial dam. He famously declared, "Our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent." That powerful idea set the stage for decades of independence movements that followed, from Nigeria to Kenya. Ghana became a symbol, a beacon of what was possible. The black star on its flag represents the star of African freedom, a guide for other nations to follow. The country became a hub for Pan-African thought, hosting conferences that brought together leaders from all over the continent and cementing its role as a cradle of African liberation. Number 2. The Land of the Warrior King. A name is never just a name. It carries history and power. And the name Ghana echoes a glorious past. The word Ghana means warrior king in the Sonic language. It was the title for the rulers of a mighty and incredibly wealthy empire that thrived in West Africa from the 8th to the 13th century. Now, here's a quick geography lesson. The ancient Ghana Empire was located hundreds of miles northwest of modern-day Ghana, in what is now Mauritania and Mali. So why did the newly independent Gold Coast adopt this name? It was a brilliant symbolic move by Kwame Nkrumah and the other founders. By renaming the country Ghana, they rejected the colonial identity of the Gold Coast, a name given by Europeans for its gold, and reached back into the continent's own history to claim a legacy of African power, organization, and wealth. The ancient Ghana Empire was a hub of civilization, famous for its sophisticated government and its control over the trans-Saharan trade. Imagine caravans of camels, thousands strong, trekking across the desert carrying salt to trade for the empire's most precious resource, gold. The kings of Ghana were said to be fabulously wealthy. Arab geographers wrote of a king who held court with gold-adorned guards and horses, and could assemble an army of 200,000 warriors. Even his dogs wore collars of gold and silver. They didn't just have gold. They were masters of trade, the warrior kings of a global commercial network. By taking this name, modern Ghana was declaring its pride, connecting to a history of strength, and reminding the world that the story of this land didn't begin when Europeans arrived. It began with its own kings. Number 3. A Symphony of Cultures. To step into Ghana is to step into a mosaic of humanity. With a population of around 35 million, it's not a single uniform nation, but a rich tapestry woven from more than 100 distinct ethnic groups, each with its own language and traditions. While English is the official language that ties everyone together, a trip from the coast to the savannah will immerse you in a symphony of different sounds, from Twi and Fante to Iwe, Ga, and Dagbani. The largest of these groups is the Akan, who, according to the latest census data, make up nearly half the population. They include well-known subgroups like the Ashanti and Fante. The Ashanti, in particular, are famous for their history as a powerful empire, their incredible gold work, their iconic Kent cloth, and their unique matrilineal society, where family lines and inheritance are traced through the mother. This diversity is the lifeblood of Ghanaian culture, and you see it on full display during the country's many festivals. These aren't just parties, they're spectacular events that mark harvests, honor ancestors, and celebrate chiefs. Imagine the Abokia Festival in Winneba, where two groups compete to be the first to catch a live bushbuck with their bare hands. Or the Homowo Festival of the Ga people, which literally means hooting at hunger, commemorating a famine that was followed by a massive harvest. These festivals are explosions of color, music, and dance. This cultural pluralism is one of Ghana's greatest strengths. In a world often torn apart by ethnic conflict, Ghana is a remarkable example of peaceful coexistence. Christians, Muslims, and followers of traditional beliefs live side by side, often in the same families. This deep respect for diversity is a cornerstone of the national character, creating a society that's complex, dynamic, and incredibly welcoming. Number 4. What day is it? Your name depends on it. Imagine meeting someone, and just by hearing their first name, you instantly know which day of the week they were born. In Ghana, this isn't a party trick. It's a deeply ingrained cultural tradition, especially among the Akan. Known as Kra-Din, or soul names, these day names are the first names a child receives, connecting them to the spirit of the day they entered the world. The system is beautifully simple. Each day of the week has a name for a boy and a girl. A boy born on Sunday is Kwasi, a girl is Akosua. Monday is for Kwadwo and Adwo. Tuesday borns are Kwabina and Abina. Wednesday's kids are Kwaku and Akua. Thursday brings Yor and Ya. Friday is the day of Kofi and Afua. And a Saturday-born boy is the famous Kwame, while the girl is Ama. But these names are more than just labels. Traditionally, each day is tied to certain personality traits. For example, those born on Monday, Adwo/Kwadwo, are often seen as peaceful. A child born on Thursday, Yor/Yor, might be considered brave and determined. This tradition connects a person not just to their family, but to a cosmic rhythm, embedding a piece of their identity in time itself. This is so common, you'll hear these names everywhere. Ghana's first president, Kwame Nkrumah, was a Saturday-born man. The celebrated former UN Secretary-General, Kofi Annan, you guessed it, born on a Friday. While people have other given and family names, the day name is often a primary part of their identity. It's a living piece of heritage spoken in every greeting. Number 5. The ultimate send-off. Ghana's fantasy coffins. In most places, a funeral is a quiet, somber affair. But in southern Ghana, especially among the Ga people, a funeral can be a vibrant, artistic, and joyous celebration of a life, headlined by one of the most astonishing art forms on the planet, the fantasy coffin. Known locally as Kabibu Adikai or proverb boxes, these are not your standard caskets. They are magnificent, hand-carved sculptures that represent the life, passion, or job of the person being laid to rest. Think of a fisherman buried in a giant, colorful fish, a farmer in a colossal cocoa pod, a taxi driver in a meticulously crafted Mercedes-Benz, or even a pilot in a wooden airplane, ready for one last flight. The tradition comes from the Ga belief that life continues in the next world, and that ancestors can help the living. So a funeral is a critical transition, and the coffin is a spectacular vehicle for that journey. A distinguished send-off is thought to honor the deceased, secure their status in the afterlife, and bring blessings to the family. The practice is often traced back to a carpenter named Seth Cain Kwai in the 1950s. The story goes that he made a palanquin shaped like a cocoa pod for a chief. The chief died before he could use it, so he was buried in it instead. Soon after, Cain Kwai's grandmother, who had always dreamed of flying, passed away. He built her a coffin shaped like an airplane to fulfill her dream in the afterlife, and a new tradition took flight. Today, artisans like Pa Joe have gained international fame, with their creations shown in art galleries worldwide. But these aren't just art. They are functional coffins, and families may save for months or years to afford one. They transform a funeral from a moment of grief into a spectacle of remembrance, a final, stunning statement about who a person was and what they loved. If you're finding this journey through Ghana as fascinating as we are, take a second to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We have so much more to explore, and you won't want to miss what's coming up next. Number 6. The rhythms of life, high life and hip life. Music is the heartbeat of Ghana. It pours from radios, pulses from markets, and fuels every celebration. The country's sound is rich and diverse, but two genres in particular tell the story of modern Ghana: high life and its dynamic offspring, hip life. High life music popped up in the early 20th century, a uniquely Ghanaian fusion that stirred together local rhythms, like the traditional guitar style called palm wine music, with sounds from abroad. When Ghanaian soldiers returned from World War II, they brought back Western jazz and swing. The mix of syncopated African guitar riffs, jazzy horns, and upbeat rhythms created a cool urban sound. The name High Life supposedly came from the high-class parties where these bands played. After independence, High Life became the national soundtrack, led by legends like E.T. Mensah. Then fast forward to the 1990s. A new generation was soaking up another global sound: American hip-hop. But instead of just copying it, they did something brilliantly Ghanaian. They fused it with their own heritage. That's how hip life was born, blending hip-hop beats and rap with the melodies of high life. A pioneer of this sound, Reggie Rockstone, is often called the godfather of hip life, for being one of the first to rap in the local Twi language over beats that sampled classic high life tracks. Hip life was more than music. It was a cultural movement. It gave a voice to a new generation, letting them talk about social issues, celebrate their culture, and express their identity in a way that was both modern and distinctly Ghanaian. It's a perfect example of Ghana's ability to absorb outside influences without losing its own flavor, constantly innovating while staying connected to its roots. Number 7. Ghana's wild heart, Mole National Park. While Ghana's culture is endlessly fascinating, its natural beauty is just as stunning. And you see it best in the sprawling savanna of Mole National Park, the country's largest and most famous wildlife refuge. Located in the northwest, Mole covers nearly 5,000 square kilometers, offering a vision of West Africa as it has existed for millennia. The park is a critical sanctuary for over 93 species of mammals, but it's most famous for its thriving population of African elephants. Mole is home to one of West Africa's most important elephant populations, and seeing these gentle giants roam freely is the park's main draw. During the dry season, from November to April, they gather at the park's waterholes, giving visitors an almost guaranteed chance to see them. But what makes a safari at Mole truly special is the chance to explore on foot. Because large predators like lions are very rarely seen, Mole is one of the few places in Africa where walking safaris are the main event. Led by an armed ranger, you can leave the truck behind and track animals on their own terms. There's nothing like the thrill of walking through the bush and coming across a herd of antelope, a family of warthogs, or the majestic, lumbering shape of an elephant just a safe distance away. It's an intimate and humbling experience. Beyond the elephants, the park is teeming with life. You can spot bushbucks, waterbucks, roan antelope, and troops of baboons. It's also a paradise for birdwatchers, with over 340 recorded species. A visit to Mole is a journey into Ghana's wild heart, an authentic safari experience far from the crowded parks elsewhere in Africa. Number 8. Walking Among Giants, the Kakum Canopy Walkway. If Mole shows you the vast savanna, Kakum National Park drops you right into the dense, green world of a tropical rainforest. Located in southern Ghana, Kakum is famous for one truly extraordinary feature: its spectacular canopy walkway. Imagine being suspended 40 meters, that's 130 feet, in the air, walking on a narrow swaying bridge that winds through the treetops. This is the Kakum Canopy Walkway, a series of 7 bridges stretching over 330 meters. It's the most famous and extensive walkway of its kind in West Africa, offering a bird's-eye view of the forest you just can't get anywhere else. Walking along the rope and plank bridges is a thrill. With every step, you're surrounded by the sights and sounds of the upper canopy, a world normally hidden from us on the ground. From here, you're at eye level with monkeys and the more than 300 species of birds that live in the forest. You can look down on the massive crowns of mahogany trees, some hundreds of years old, and get a real feel for the richness of the rainforest. While seeing larger animals like forest elephants is unlikely during the day, the experience is more about soaking in the forest's atmosphere. You'll hear a symphony of insects and birds, and feel the sheer life force of the jungle around you. Guides help you spot different plants and explain their traditional uses, adding another layer to the natural wonder. The Kakum Canopy Walk is more than just an adrenaline rush. It's an unforgettable way to connect with one of the world's most vital habitats. Number 9. The Great Inland Sea, Lake Volta. Stretched across a huge part of Ghana is a body of water so vast it looks like an inland sea. This is Lake Volta, which ranks among the top 3 largest man-made lakes in the world by surface area. Covering about 8,500 square kilometers, this massive reservoir is a dominant feature of the country's geography, but its existence is a relatively recent and monumental feat of engineering. Lake Volta was created in the mid-1960s by the construction of the Akosombo Dam. This massive project, a key part of President Nkrumah's vision for an industrialized Ghana, was designed to harness the Volta River to generate hydroelectricity. The dam was a triumph of development, and today it still supplies power to Ghana and neighboring countries. But creating the lake came at a huge human cost. The flooding of the Volta River basin forced the relocation of about 80,000 people from over 700 villages, a massive disruption that reshaped countless lives. The damming of the river also dramatically changed the local ecology. Today, Lake Volta is a vital part of Ghana's economy and landscape. It supports huge fishing communities and serves as a major transportation route, with ferries connecting remote villages. For visitors, the lake is a serene and beautiful escape. Its sprawling finger-like shores are dotted with small islands and fishing villages, offering a glimpse into a tranquil way of life. Lake Volta is a powerful symbol of Ghana's ambition, a testament to the drive to modernize, but also a complex legacy of development and displacement. Number 10. Castles of Sorrow, Monuments of Resilience. Along Ghana's beautiful palm-fringed coastline stand a string of imposing stone fortresses. But these aren't fairy tale castles. They are the Cape Coast and Elmina Castles, UNESCO World Heritage Sites that bear silent witness to one of the darkest chapters in human history, the transatlantic slave trade. Built by European powers starting in the 15th century, these castles were originally trading posts for gold. Elmina Castle, built by the Portuguese in 1482, is the oldest European building in sub-Saharan Africa. But over time, their main horrific function became the trade of human beings. For centuries, these castles were the last place on African soil for millions of enslaved men, women, and children captured from all over West Africa. A tour through these castles today is a deeply moving and somber experience. You walk through dark, airless dungeons where hundreds of people were crammed together in unimaginable conditions. You see the tiny punishment cells and the grand quarters of the European governors directly above the dungeons. A chilling contrast of luxury and suffering. The most powerful moment is the door of no return, a small archway leading from the dungeons out to the sea. This was the final exit, the portal through which millions of Africans were forced onto ships, bound for a life of slavery in the Americas. Standing in that doorway, looking out at the vast Atlantic, is an unforgettable moment of reflection on the scale of the tragedy. Today, these castles are essential sites of pilgrimage, especially for people of the African diaspora connecting with their heritage. They aren't just museums of sorrow. They are monuments of remembrance and resilience, ensuring this history is never forgotten. They stand as a stark reminder of the past and a symbol of Ghana's role as a keeper of this critical global memory. Bonus: the gold and the bean. You can't tell the story of Ghana without mentioning two commodities that have shaped its economy for centuries: gold and cocoa. Long before it was called the Gold Coast, this region was famous for its mineral wealth. Today, Ghana is still one of the top gold producers in Africa and the world. Just as important is the cocoa bean. Ghana is the world's second largest producer of cocoa, the key ingredient for chocolate. Introduced in the late 19th century, cocoa farming transformed the country's agriculture and became a cornerstone of the economy. So that chocolate bar you love, it likely has its roots in the hard work of Ghanaian farmers. From the defiant spirit that made it the first to claim independence to the profound artistry of a fantasy coffin, Ghana is a country of incredible depth. It's a place where the name Warrior King echoes from an ancient past, where music tells the story of a nation's evolution, and where nature offers both a thrilling canopy walk and a serene walking safari. Its history is written in the somber stones of its coastal castles and in the vibrant colors of its Kent cloth. But maybe the most interesting thing about Ghana is its people. The warmth of the welcome, the deep respect for tradition, and the harmonious blend of over 100 ethnic groups create a culture that is both resilient and remarkably open. It's a country that looks forward without forgetting where it came from. A place of stories, rhythms, and unforgettable soul. So, which of these incredible facts about Ghana surprised you the most? Was it the day names, the airplane coffins, or its pioneering role in history? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the amazing cultures of our world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.